Good morning. I'll officially call this meeting of the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to order for Tuesday, August 23rd. Please join us for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Zoller will lead us with the prayer.
Let's bow our heads. Dear Lord, thank you for this mild weather that we're having now. Thank you for the opportunity that the citizens of Seneca County have given us commissioners to serve in their benefit. As we look towards the school season, let us pray that we have a safe school season and that our young people gain a lot of knowledge. And in your name, amen.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Stacy?
Here.
Commissioner Zoller?
Here.
Commissioner Kushner?
Here.
We'll have the signing of the journal and accept a motion to approve the DVD recording from our previous board session of August 16th and the index.
I will so move.
Seconded.
And motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Approved. Thank you. Are there any adjustments to the printed agenda?
I'd like to talk a little bit about the Board of Elections and ADA.
Okay. We have a Board of Elections on there, so we'll put it under there. Anything else to be added?
Just a Heritage Fest Parade.
Oh, yeah, and we can talk about that too.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That is on 9/11, right? The date is not, oh,
The
the
Heritage.
Festival.
Oh, okay.
That's probably what it is.
Mr. Kirschner, we're talking about hair, it was heritage.
Anything else to add to the agenda? Okay, we will proceed with old business there. We've got the Board of Elections written down. We can talk about any part of Board of Elections. I know that I wanted to list it on there if we wanted to consider any type of set aside for the future voting equipment. I don't believe the Secretary of State came out and mandated that we do this. I know there was talk about asking the counties to be, warning us to be prepared for this large expenditure that we don't even know what that large expenditure is going to be yet, dollar figure wise, or if there's any assistance from the state coming. But I thought it's better to be prepared than not at all. If we wanted to consider doing that, now we're well into the second part of the year for them. And actually, the annex programming those were the two things on both those topics that I was interested in doing, was set aside money for or discussion that.
Well, from what I know thus far about the voting machines, and I'm sure that you're pretty much up to speed as well, they haven't chosen which ones they'll be using, so therefore they don't have a cost. And there is much talk in Columbus about not imposing an unfunded mandate. However, that's not always the case. They are talking about trying to fund it somewhat. So I think it probably would be prudent to at least start to accrue some money, but the problem is we don't know when or how much. So that's always a little bit of a mystery, difficult to do.
Now, if we put it into a certain fund space, are we able to move it back out of that fund if we set it aside for Board of Elections, if we had too much put in there, or we
Yeah.
needed it somewhere else?
As long as we move it to our capital projects line, or fund, instead of creating a new fund, because then you have to go through the process of.
Yeah. How much do we have in our capital projects fund at this point?
I'd have to look. Our 215, I'm not sure, because that's where we have all the money set aside for the renovations we're doing at CSP. So, there's some in there, but
Okay.
since we've moved the courthouse money out of there, it's probably minimal at this point right
We've
now with
moved
all the
two-
project.
We've moved $2 million
Out of there to the
out of there
courthouse.
to the courthouse
Yeah.
fund. Okay.
I guess my next question is where do we stand at on revenue this year? Sales tax, so forth and so on. How far ahead are we to what was budgeted?
The last budget commission, we were right
Yeah,
on track, maybe
right
a couple
at it.
percent
Yeah,
higher
we're
than for sales tax.
As of July 31st, we're pretty much a push right now.
With where we're sitting with some carryover monies now, I mean, I think we could probably look at putting 250,000 aside for Board of Elections and for the annex programming and be all right, and stick it in 215 to have some money already designated for both of those things.
Well, if we put in 215, I guess the good news with that is that we certainly know that we're gonna have some projects. Whether that be the Board of Elections machines, or whether that be some improvements to buildings. So it would probably be prudent to put some money aside, not necessarily designated, keep in the back of our minds, it could be for the election machines, but we know that some is in there kind of saved away, so.
If I can make a comment, I'm certainly not real versed on legislation and politics and so forth, but yeah, if I was sitting down in Columbus and I would see that half the counties, the 88 counties put money away, I may be less prone to appropriate funds for it. But if I realize, I guess a little bit of a game of poker here, but if they see we don't have any money, our pockets are empty, then they may be more willing. You know, I know that's a tough game of poker to play, but you know, we got the carryover, so we could always come back on it if we have to.
Well, we got the state auditor who is very much aware of what every county has in every account.
Yeah, so we keep
So,
it at zero.
Yeah, whether you appropriated it specifically or you haven't, they know what you have. So I don't think there's any shell game that can happen there.
Yeah, well, and I'm, you know, I'd like to be wrong on this, but I'm thinking 250,000 set aside now won't even be, you know, we'd be lucky if that was half of what our contribution has to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're talking in
Or all.
terms of 700,000
Yeah.
of the machines. Again, they haven't picked the machine specifically,
Right.
nor have they come up with a date that they're gonna mandate it. And there's a lot of, you know, if it's purely electronic, there's a lot of kickback, that there has to be some type of an audit trail, some type of paper audit trail as to the voting. So it may still be a long road.
Yeah. So,
But I don't have any problem setting aside $250,000 for potential costs of either building maintenance or equipment purchases in the future.
What was our carryover last year in comparison? Did it increase or decrease
Decrease.
from previous years?
Yeah, decreased,
Decreased?
yeah, but we're,
And we're about 1.8 then, if I recall.
now we're a little bit higher, but,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm confused. If we were to push this year and we.
Because it's a carryover, it's a cumulative.
Yeah,
It's not, I mean, we
Okay,
didn't
but
spend
the total
it.
was about 1.8 though.
yeah, we're
If I
about,
recall.
Yeah. yes,
And we were about 2.22
the year before.
when I started.
we're close to 2 now.
But don't forget, we put $450 away for the courthouse.
Yeah, we've already done that.
Yeah, that's already out of there.
I certainly wouldn't object if that's, I mean.
Do you want to put it, Mike, do you want to put it in for
Sure.
both, the 250 for each, or 250 for
No,
either?
just 250 one time.
One time,
at
not
this
something
point.
separate for the annex.
If we just put it into 215, we can designate what it's for.
Yeah,
At a later
'cause
date.
my sense is that we will have some additional money. I don't know what the progression of payments are. I mean, are we putting our $2 million in first and then using the bond money? Are we using the bond money first and then using our $2 million?
Well, we've been using the 2 million because we had bills before
Yeah.
the bond
Right,
came in.
but, okay. But the point that I'm trying to make is that the bond money is specifically for the courthouse. And now the interest-free loan is specifically for the courthouse. So we might want to hold off with the money that we have in that, because that could be used for more reasons than just the courthouse.
Yep, absolutely.
So, if it's a question of, what order we use the money, we want to use the money specifically designated for the courthouse first.
Yep, yep,
And if there's a carryover from that, that'll be money that we could move around.
yep.
Within the county.
Yep.
Okay. So, the question is, 250 for the annex and 250 for machines, is that what you're thinking?
That's what I was thinking, 250 each,
So we're moving.
500,000.
But basically, then we would just be moving 500,000 without having to designate anything for either building improvements and/or equipment purchases in the future.
If it doesn't matter for any more specific than that to
No.
line, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay, then let's do that, let's make that motion. 500,000 moved to what's the number?
Our 215 capital improvement.
215 capital improvements account for future building modifications, repairs, and/or equipment purchases.
Do you have a second?
I
Second.
can't second, I'm sorry.
I'll second that. Any further discussion on setting aside money?
What is your objection, Con?
I just, that's gonna take our carryover down to about 1.2, 1.3, which is roughly 2 payrolls.
Well, that's
I
not
don't
gonna,
feel
that's not
comfortable
gonna
with
go
it.
away. If push came to shove, you could move the money back out and put it in for general operating, if it ever came to the point where you had to worry about that, but I think we're okay.
We always have the ability at any time to take it out and put it back in the general fund,
We have the
as
ability.
long as we put in 215. I just don't feel comfortable with, you know, which was basically a month, little over a month's rainy day fund, you know, covers 2 payrolls.
Would be about 1.5.
But, you know, but realizing, I understand the importance of it. I mean, that we have to set some money aside, I get it, but I just don't like living that tight to the bone there.
Okay.
Okay.
Further discussion, roll call, please.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Yes.
Commissioner Zoller?
No,
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes, approved. All right. Nothing else under old business? New business, let's cover the Heritage Festival question.
Well, wait.
Oh,
we had the
Still
Board of
have-
Elections,
Oh, yes, right, you still had
your
some
Board of
votes for it, I'm
Elections,
sorry.
88.
Oh, 88, okay.
Yeah, Commissioner Stacy, as you were there at the last meeting, and we're looking at making these improvements and relocating the Board of Elections. And everything I hear is that we can't get a sign off on ADA accessibility. I know that the people that we're using to design the interior, that it will be ADA acceptable in there. But I come back to the exterior of the building, and I was here along with David Kale when the gentleman come down and said that our sidewalk is not ADA accessible because of the incline a wheelchair could run. So all I would like to do before we're gonna invest money, I'd like to have a sign off from the state.
Well, first of all, let me explain. The state has nothing to do with it. The state comes in and makes suggestions, like that commercial, you know, they're a monitor. They're not an enforcer. So it's a federal regulation.
Okay.
So the state can come in and say, these are the things that I don't like. But for anybody to cause us a problem, it would have to be from a federal agency. So the point here is that there is probably not a building, including the new Justice Center, that is gonna be fully ADA compliant. You can't change the layout, you can't change the lay of the land.
No, I agree.
So the point is that as long as there is no objection and some federal agency coming down saying you gotta close this building, you're not gonna have a problem. I mean, as long as you do what you need to do to be compliant in accessing the building and supplying handicap bathrooms, you're gonna be fine. You're never gonna get anybody to give you a letter to sign off to say everything is okay. That's not gonna happen.
Really?
No. Because it isn't. I mean, this
Well,
building,
but I mean, can
this
they give
building
us-
under the current code is not ADA.
Can they give us a
perfectly-
waiver? I mean, I'm more concerned with the slope, even though I think it's senseless, but that's not my job. The slope in front of the street, the
Well, the
sidewalk.
best we're gonna do is, you know, the city's agreed to put that curb cut in there for handicap
Yes.
accessibility. And, you know, obviously we'll accept that. But beyond that, Freddie, I mean, the pitch of South Washington Street isn't gonna change.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Before we start investing in money, I would like to get the feds or somebody just to sign off on it, saying, we understand that, and we'll give you a waiver. They ain't gonna get any money. Then you gotta, I just hate to spend money when we don't, it's not,
Yeah.
then we're not gonna get a waiver, but if that's government, then we gotta deal with it.
I mean, I feel like part of the push before, it wasn't that they they were making it up, they had their level and they checked it, but they also felt we weren't listening about the crampedness of the existing space they had. And so they were, pushing envelopes at all sides because they needed more space, and we're addressing those issues now, so.
Yeah, and that's right. Just to be very clear, this new space is certainly going to not disenfranchise any person with a handicap. It's going to improve their accessibility, and it's going to be a much better space for anybody that needs to get entrance, so.
As somewhat of a consolation, though, I did reach out to our prosecutor, and he said that if something did come down, he felt that he could defend us in what we've done and tried it in every way to be ADA accessible. So I do have at least somewhat of a comfort feeling there. Just sometimes what you like and what you get to different things.
So nothing else with the
No.
Board of Elections?
And once again, Representative Reineke has been very cooperative with that. Anything that we need, we talked to him twice yesterday on this. Talked to Board of Elections yesterday, and everybody's on the same page, and everybody feels comfortable.
Okay. Question from, information from the Heritage Festival regarding parade.
Fred, do you wanna?
Go ahead, Well.
There has been a donation for a ride in a 1924 Model T for the Heritage Festival for you guys.
Yeah.
If you remember, Commissioner Stacy, you asked if I could line up a vehicle.
Yeah.
And I thought the Heritage Festival and an old-time vehicle would have been perfect. So
There we go.
unfortunately, I will not be here that day, but I asked the mayor if he would like to ride with you.
Does this come with the driver? Do we need to drive it? Are we allowed to drive it? Probably not allowed.
I don't think so. I think that comes with the work driver.
That's probably a good thing. Okay.
But Commissioner Zoller will not.
Will not be able to join us?
Yeah, so.
Right, so
I'll be with you in spirit.
Well, this is also a gift card for $75 at Empire 138. Can we have
I
lunch?
got that.
He's got
Yeah,
that.
My generosity
I'm not
runs.
accepting that. You have to put that on your financial disclosure. I'm not accepting any lunch. Just publicly stating that.
This was private.
I would accept it.
You'll have to call
So we need to
and
just
to
make
make an arrangement.
make our entry
that
for
day.
the,
Okay, back to you.
Okay.
You're in charge.
all right, so we will be in the parade. All right, nothing
Well,
else?
since we're on that topic, what are we gonna do for the 9/11 parade? Should I go
Yes,
convertible or something?
Well, I need to call him, I just haven't called him.
Okay.
I think about it when I'm,
When is the
Can't call
9/11
it.
parade? It's on 9/11.
When is the 9/11 parade? When's the 4th of July? right?
You didn't let me finish. I said, I'm gonna I do want tapes of all these meetings that we had through the years. I love Lucy.
all right. We're working on our transport for 9/11 parade on that Sunday. All right, new business, let's go with something else. How about the FLSA presentation? And that is tomorrow morning.
Yep, at 9 o'clock.
It's open for county
Yep.
personnel and, one of our dear favorites of Economic Development Office is about to come.
Right after the board meeting, I'm zipping over.
The Fair Labor Standards Act has changed salary requirements, so we've
Who's
asked.
exempt and who's non-exempt?
Right. And so
They've been studying, I can tell.
it goes into effect December 1st.
This is better than Somonex, I'll tell you that.
David, I know that there's the seminar tomorrow. The presentation will be for county government and so forth. Is there anything that you've done for private industry or private companies to offer some sort of similar seminar for HR people?
I'll check with John.
Maybe
That
the
would be
chambers,
a
yeah.
chamber. Let me check with John. I
That
think
would
that would
be-
that's a great idea. I bet he'd get great attendance, so let me.
Oh, absolutely.
Let me
I mean,
talk to
it's on the
John. Let me,
forefront of
I will,
everyone's.
I'm gonna email him right now.
Yeah, private businesses.
That's a good idea.
Fostoria did one, and that's the presentation I went to, is the one in Fostoria.
Which was for private business.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
for, yeah, and we were invited,
Yeah.
so it was pretty good.
Since we have Mr. Zach here, can I bring up one topic? That'd be the library, Carnegie
Sure.
Library. David, Zach, and I had a brief conversation, and I wanted to get the rest of your thoughts about this if I can go forward. We thought that we would write the Carnegie Foundation and let them know that we will be vacating that library, to find out whether by chance they may have some repurposing use for it, or whether they might like to keep it as part of their portfolio of buildings, since it was originally done as a result of the Carnegie Foundation grant. There may be nothing to that, but it may be that they have some type of interest in buildings of that age, and maybe they want to try to repurpose. So, with their permission, I will write them, along with David's co-signature, from the economic development standpoint, asking them if they would have any use for that building.
Sure. I think that
I
sounds
would
good.
very much agree
Yeah.
with that.
Keeping in mind that if it were sold or whatever, I know that we've got to go through the bidding process, et cetera.
Right.
Just to find out if there's any level of interest at all.
So is it still a library or foundation? What is it, Carnegie?
Carnegie Foundation still
Foundation.
exists, and they were the original grantors of some of, or all of, the money to build that library.
Okay.
But that was early 1900s.
They're all over America, yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Sounds good.
They probably will say do what you want, but maybe they have an interest.
If you don't ask, you don't get, so.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It'd be the same answer, but we're not gonna be any farther behind them, we are.
So, okay, good. Sounds good. All right. Guess that takes us, if there's nothing else, to bill vouchers.
Yes, I got bill vouchers batch 19960 for 20196. I have an appropriation adjustment within the Sheriff's Community Correction Grant Fund. He's moving various amounts from supplies, equipment, Medicare, hospitalization, contract services to the transfers outline, in total amount of $7,198.53. I have a supplement to the permitted appropriation to the general fund, putting $5,400 into the salary precinct workers. The Board of Elections did get some grant money for this. They've got about $3,400 that they got of the $5,400, and they were calculating with all the hours and the whole workers that they will need the additional. So they're asking for $5,400. I have a resolution authorizing an appropriation adjustment within the sewer district fund, moving $2,080. I have a resolution authorizing an appropriation adjustment within the general fund, moving $1,000 from insurance premiums to advertising. I have an appropriation adjustment within the M&R fund, moving $5,000 from materials to his pipeline. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriation to the public assistance fund, totaling $55,100. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriation to the general fund. This is for two different supply line. One is our county supply line. We are in need of paper. We usually buy this once a year. Last purchase was made in July of last year, and it's usually about $10,000. So, and then the maintenance is for $10,000. So a total of $10,500. I have a resolution authorizing a fund transfer be made to the EMA fund. He's moving, okay, we're closing out his old 068 911 fund. And to close that out, it has to be funneled back through the general fund and then out of the general fund back into his current EMA fund. So he's just closing down the 068 since his new 911 fund is, obviously they put it in a separate fund. So the total moved is $5,923.93. A resolution accepting the bid of Smith Farms for leasing farm located in Hopewell Township.
Is that the small piece?
Yes.
Yes. And entering into lease. And I have the other one, accepting the bid of Hannah Farms LLC for leasing of the county home farm and the main barn on a cash rent per acre basis. Authorize the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to enter into lease.
And they agreed to everything that Seneca Soil and Water wanted to do?
Yes. Yep. I have a resolution establishing the ability to dispose unneeded, obsolete, or unfit county property by means of online internet auctions as alternative to public auction or sealed bids. That we're doing this retroactive to January 1st. This is something we do every year. It was just missed at the beginning of the year, and we do have departments that sell on like Gov Deals quite a bit. Our sheriff does all the time, EMS, the engineer. I have a resolution authorizing the sale of county property. This is one of the ambulances, 1994 Ford ambulance. They're again sold on Gov Deals. We got $5,000 for that. I have a resolution authorizing the Seneca County Board of Commissioners, Holly Stacy as president of the commissioners, to sign satisfaction of mortgage for Sarah Kennard for the satisfaction of her loan with the commissioners for work done through the county community housing improvement program of 2005. And that's all the resolutions I have.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve as outlined.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve resolutions as presented. Any comments, questions, concerns? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Yes.
Commissioner Zoller?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
I
Yes.
saw you on the other ones.
Okay. All approved, thank you.
I have one more question,
Okay.
or one more topic. I know that we've got, the construction manager at risk, and they are now accepting bids, I think, for phase 2. Is that right? I mean, all that stuff is out for bids. We used to get the bid, I know that we don't anymore on this project. We used to get the bids in here, and we would open them and make a decision. Do we have any part of that opening process at all? Or do they control that entire process?
Gilbane does, yes.
Okay, is there a date that bids are due, and we'll be made aware of who got what bids?
And I only seen an email this morning to know apparently the bids are due for that, was it today?
Phase
Did you
2 at
see the
2
email?
o'clock. So I got a call from 2 contractors. Bids are due today for phase 2 at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
But do we know when they're gonna be open? Do they keep us informed of that stuff? Shouldn't we have some knowledge of the timing of these things?
Yeah,
I'm sure we can ask them
Yeah.
what it is, but it is under
Gilbane's.
their responsibility.
No, I get
to do
that.
all
They got the
stuff,
gross
so-
maximum price, but
Yeah.
you would think for purposes of inquiry,
Yeah.
that we would have some, that the bids are due at 2 o'clock today. They're gonna be opened at 3 o'clock on Saturday or Friday, or
Whatever
whatever
it
the
is.
date is.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can ask either Chad or ask Holly to get that schedule for us.
Yeah, I'd just like to see, and it's only gonna be temporary, because once it's done, it's done. But
Right.
I'd like to be able to answer questions for folks when they call.
Sure.
Okay. All right, we have the need for, citizens' comments. Let's do that first because we need an executive session and don't.
I just have a question before we go to citizens' comment. And since the judge is here, has the judges put in their portion for their furtherance of justice funds?
No.
You have not put that in?
No,
Okay.
but my parking spot is 2 feet narrower than it used to be. And I have to drive my Vibe now rather than my Chevy truck. So,
Who's a little weight?
my
Well,
truck is losing weight, it's been rusting up.
Once you contribute your part, we'll give you a larger spot, okay?
Fair enough. Well, Judge Shuff's spot did not change, let me just add that in.
That's between you two. We got nothing to do
I can
with
see
that.
the headlines. Personally, parking for payments.
Yeah.
I got the small, I got the fourth floor, smaller floor, now I got the small, you know, I'm downsizing.
Time for
apparently.
done, I'll tell you what.
Oh, we need some.
Doing whatever I can for the county.
Oh, there we go. We just need some black spray paint and some sidewalk chalk. We can make the one as big as you want.
We appreciate you.
Pay up will give you.
Well, conversely, I just wanna let you know that the longer we don't get the judge's money, the smaller the space gets. You and, yeah,
Fair enough.
You'll be on your scooter before long.
actually, there is some.
Putting the
technical-
jokes aside, nobody's ever indicated when there was a desire for the special.
That's why I
fund.
bring this, and I realize that. I
Yeah,
think
we've got all the city's money other than, I think,
We don't
Judge
have-
Rep had to do.
There's some technical difficulties with Judge Reps.
Yeah.
Transfer of money. It's gonna be okay, but he's gotta get.
Well, we
some-
have a core meeting on Thursday.
It's gonna
correct?
take up the
Yeah, but
jars.
that's separate from, Muni Court Common Pleas is separate, or does all the money go
Oh,
together?
no, well, I don't,
Is this just one or all?
it's separate.
Oh.
The special projects money for the common police court is
Yeah.
separate from the special projects money, I believe, for municipal court. So,
I guess if we could have some kind of indication after your meeting, and I don't think there's any dire need of it, but
No, there's no.
Maybe it's just a
matter.
matter of us, we'll just send a
I
request.
feel
We
over
put
to
a
better.
half a
judges.
million into the fund this morning.
We did?
I feel better in our account than your account, Judge, I'm sorry.
Two of us did.
Yeah, true.
Good, yeah.
Okay. Are there any citizens' comments at this time? Seeing no's, okay. All right. We have the need to hold an exec.
Well, David, can you tell us anything today? Any new developments, any new companies,
He's always
anything?
giving
we
you a hard
should
time.
Be aware of?
We had a new restaurant get announced that's gonna be in O'Hare.
Jimmy John's, I suppose?
No, this was the Greek restaurant.
Oh, yeah, well, everybody in the world knows that, so anything new?
Jeez.
Soon.
Okay.
Yeah, what did you do for us today, not yesterday?
That was, you know.
That's the, yeah, the Browns' new coach is win one soon.
Oh, goodness me, goodness me.
You missed one.
All right. No citizens' comments. We have the need to go to an executive session for the discussion of personnel, and we anticipate no action thereafter. Just discussions need to be held. Joe, I have a motion.
Make a motion that we adjourn and
No,
go into executive session.
Second.
Okay, the motion is that we'll go into executive session. It's
Second.
second. It's 10:32.
Just one or so.
They were